So we're back to our 2005 F550 with the 6.0 Powerstroke diesel. Did a previous video on it. Came in as a no start. First thing you're going to look at is some data. You want to look at FICM, you want to look at your injection control pressure and cranking speed. Make sure you have an RPM signal. Check your cam and cranksync. I determined we didn't have any injection control pressure, so I air tested the system really quick, didn't hear any leaks in it. Then I moved over to the low pressure oil side of things and found out we didn't have any base oil pressure. So pulled the pump out, G-rotor gears are all tore up, assumed we probably lost roller needle bearings out of the roller lifter, one of the roller lifters. So rolled it over on the bench here, got it out, rolled it over on the bench here, and pulled all the lifters out of it. And I found a lifter. I pulled each lifter out individually, out of the lifter carriers here, and looked at all of them. You can see the needles in there when you kind of cock it off to the side. And I found one lifter that looks like it has at least 3 little needles missing out of it. So, and it does have quite a bit of up and down play in it. It's still rolling, so apparently this just happened. I mean, very recently, before the engine quit running. So, what happens is the needle bearings will fall out of there. On the pickup, the screen is pretty big. A needle will go through there very easily. And these G-rotor pumps, they're really high volume. They move a hell of a lot of oil because we have a lot going on here as far as the oiling system. So we figured that problem out. It tore up the housing for the where this sits in the front cover of the bore, and it also gouged up the cover plate here, so it's not going to make any oil pressure. These gears would probably be just fine. They would, other than they got some damage on them, but this will still draw oil. But the problem is that we've gouged up our housing, where this sits, and it won't create any suction, and if there's nothing to suck, there's nothing to pressurize. So I looked over the rest of the engine, looked at the crosshatch on the cylinders. It looks great. I mean, this thing is amazingly beautiful inside. Crankshaft looks beautiful. Pulled a couple main bearings out of the block. Once I got the bed plate off, they look beautiful. The crankshaft is just really beautiful. I pulled a couple rod caps, look at both bearing shells, and they look just fine. So I think what I'm going to do here, since this thing was a good runner, it ran really good, is I'm just going to clean it all out, clean everything up really nice, blow out the oil galleys, just kind of flush everything out here, make sure everything that has to do with the crankshaft or the crankcase is super clean, and then basically just put it back together with some new gaskets, and I'll put a new front cover on it, new oil pump, gears, and get her all back together and put her back in there and get her running again and get it back on the road. So sometimes if this has gone on for a long time, and you'll tear an engine down, and the bearings will be all scored up, and it's just not worth fixing. But this thing here, there's no reason to throw this thing away. It can be cleaned up. I've done it quite a few times in the past, and they're still out there running just fine. This is a good candidate to just clean and fix up and get it back on the road and let it go another couple 100,000 miles. So as I do this, when I get this cleaned up, I'll come back when I'm reassembling it, and because people seem to like that, and we'll assemble this thing back together, get it back in the truck, and get it on the road. So thanks.